Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here, and welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, April 25, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here where the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the latest Euro and GFS Supercomputer runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. As we head into Saturday morning, we see some rainfall to our south, to our north, not really much on land, but Saturday afternoon, that's where we see rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica. Let us see what the GFS is showing for the same time period. On Saturday morning, rainfall to our south, rainfall to our north. Then on Saturday afternoon, just like what the Euro was showing, eastern, central, and western parishes with some amount of rainfall. We also see some rainfall extending into Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and sections of the Leeward Islands. Let us see what Sunday morning has in store for us. 12Z, which is actually 7 AM, shows not much of anything across Jamaica at that time on the Euro. Sunday afternoon, however, shows rainfall mainly across sections of some central and western parishes. What does the latest GFS show for the same time period? Sunday morning, rainfall to our southwest, rainfall to our east. And then on Sunday afternoon, we see that rainfall mainly across central and western parishes once again. What does Monday have in store for us? We see some greens that represent some isolated shores across the northeast. And then on that Monday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, not much of anything according to the latest GFS. But it's the afternoon that we see some rainfall mainly across sections of some southern and western parishes. So we have some similarities, we have some contrast. Let's see what Tuesday morning has in store for us. The northeastern areas once again getting on that morning rainfall. Tuesday afternoon, eastern, central, and western parishes getting on that rainfall. GFS, same thing, northeastern parishes in the morning, eastern, central, and western parishes during the afternoon. What does Wednesday have in store for us? Wednesday morning, we see rainfall once again across the northeast, rainfall across sections of central and eastern Jamaica during the afternoon. What does the GFS show? Same thing for the northeast in the morning on Wednesday. Then it's more so eastern, central, and western parishes during the afternoon getting on that rainfall. Then on Thursday morning, what do we see? Not much of anything across the land, but we do see moisture across the southwestern Caribbean, moisture to the south of the Dominican Republic affecting Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands. And then on Thursday afternoon, we see not really much of anything, just some isolated pockets of rainfall here and there. Then we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Friday, May 2. And we see rainfall extending from the Leeward Islands all the way over to the south of Hispaniola, all the way into the western Caribbean portion of Central America. Let's see what the GFS is showing for the same time period. Thursday morning, rainfall across the northeast, rainfall to our south. Then Thursday afternoon, eastern, central, and western parishes getting on that rainfall. Then we see at the end of the 168 hours, just like what the Euro was showing, the rainfall extending from the eastern Caribbean to the southern portions of to the south of Hispaniola, to the south of Jamaica, into the western Caribbean. Maybe some isolated shores across sections of some northern parishes. It's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, we can see that the brunt of the rainfall over the next 7 days, from now all the way up until Friday, May 2, we see that in northern South America is going to be feeling the most of the rainfall. We know that because we see the dark reds into the purples into the pinks, that will represent anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of rainfall for section of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica. We see some of that across eastern Cuba, Hispaniola, sections of Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Guadeloupe, Dominica, getting out some of that as well. And we see that it's not only the GFS that's showing this, but the Euro is showing something similar. So these areas could pick up some amount of isolated flash flooding events for sure. But regarding the greens into the yellows into the oranges and the reds, that represents anywhere from 0.1 of an inch of rainfall to an inch of rainfall. That's going to be affecting areas like the ABC Islands, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, the eastern portion of the Yucatan, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua for sure. And we're indeed grateful for whatever rainfall we're going to be receiving, that we can keep water in our pipes. But regarding the total accumulated precipitation forecast for Jamaica over the next 7 days, we can see the greens into the yellows. That represents anywhere from 15 millimeters of rainfall all the way up to 50 millimeters of rainfall, especially across the northeast, where we have Portland, and we see the 50 millimeters right there on the GFS, up to 51 here on the Euro. We have consensus. I know that rainfall that's going to be plaguing Portland is going to be during the morning hours, and the rest of the island will receive their fair share of rainfall during the afternoon, central and western parishes for sure. And whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs on our other social media platforms. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, you can see a ridge of high pressure right here off the east coast of the US, another ridge of high pressure right here to the west of Europe, that we know are responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. You can see the broken orange lines associated with that trough still plaguing portion of the eastern Caribbean, another trough right here to the north of Puerto Rico extending up into the northern portion of North Atlantic, and to the north of that trough we have the blue spike lines right here associated with a cold front. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost the sunlight, we can make out all of the entities that we just mentioned. The clouds associated with that trough still plaguing the eastern Caribbean as we speak, with cloud showers and thunderstorms. The clouds to the north of that trough associated with another trough plaguing the waters to the north of Puerto Rico, and to the north of that trough we see clouds associated with that cold front as well. And we can also make out the low level to mid level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure that are to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean's weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, April 25, 2025. So, it was stated that we would have received some amount of rainfall. Let me see if I can reload it. No. Glitch. Give it a second. So what was predicted for today was the fact that we would have received some amount of morning rainfall across sections of some northern parishes, also affecting sections of some southern and western parishes during the afternoon. And we know northern parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. Southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. Our western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 8:16 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, as well as on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the visible satellite image this morning, highlighting some clouds, bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated thunder showers, to section of Portland, section of St. Mary for sure. Definitely got on the overcast skies, if not some rainfall. And we definitely saw some sparkling white dots in there on the infrared to signal that we're indeed getting on some morning thunderstorms across these northern parishes for sure. And then at around 1:28 p.m., the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing Barbican definitely showed us that we're getting in some amount of rainfall, some light to moderate rainfall at that, soaking the area for sure. We can see people walking about, going about their business with their umbrellas, and the windshield wipers of vehicles definitely on at that time to signal that we definitely got a decent bout of rainfall to soak the Barbican area at around 1:28 p.m. And then at around 1:55 p.m., The visible satellite image was posted, and it highlighted much of the same. The clouds bring the overcast skies, if not the isolated thunder showers, mainly to sections of some southern and western parishes. Wherever we see the sparkling yellow dots, that's where we know we are getting another lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had that across sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, sections of northern Westmoreland as well, got some of the action at that time. Then as the afternoon progressed at around 3 or 5 p.m., the infrared close-up satellite images were posted, and they highlighted the thunderstorms. Look at the greens into the blues and the yellows and the oranges. It represents cumulonimbus clouds, and the sparkling white dots that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, mainly across sections of some southern and western parishes for sure. Definitely had some thunderstorms across sections of the island. And the visible satellite imagery confirms all of what we just saw. You can see the clouds coming in more so from the east northeast, then piling up across sections of especially southern parishes in Jamaica. Then we had the upper level clouds being sheared off towards the east by that upper level wind shear, just as predicted, and we can see it all right here. And the infrared close-up satellite images of Jamaica definitely confirming the convection that took place. The blues, greens, yellows, oranges represents the thunderstorm activity. The sparkling white dots represent the lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. Definitely had some strong thunderstorms across sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, Western St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, sections of Westmoreland, Southern St. James, Southern Trelawney. Definitely gotten on some of the action as well. And even the live camera here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing what was taking place at around 1:47 p.m. Around the Bogwalk Gorge, we can see they were definitely getting on some moderate to heavy rainfall for sure. You can see people in their vehicles going about their business at that time, but the flat bridge was definitely getting a decent soaking. Rear Cobra not showing that normal greenish shade at all, kind of looking like it's getting to a murky shade, but I'm pretty sure that all of that has dwindled down. Definitely calm now, and looking at the live at around 6:48 p.m. definitely dried out as well. Very good. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint quite the picture for we might have had that rainfall today, even although it's not 100% accurate, because I'm sure we didn't have much of anything across sections of Hanover and St. James. We definitely had that rainfall across sections of Portland, St. Mary this morning, then across sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland during the afternoon hours. And we have some footage of what the weather was like today. As a matter of fact, there was footage of hailstones taking place in Manchester. It was definitely hailing over there given the thunderstorms that took place. It states here, more footage has surfaced of the hail across sections of Manchester today. April 25, 2025. Hail forms and strong updrafts in thunderstorms carry raindrops into freezing air high above the ground. Intense thunderstorms are the main cause. Have you ever seen hail? I've never seen hail in my part of St. Thomas at all. Would love to. But clearly Manchester, they are on a hill, so I'm not surprised that they got it. And we know that the severe thunderstorms can definitely cause it. It has happened in other parishes before: Hanover, Westmoreland, Clarendon, St. Catherine. Hopefully all of us live to see hail sometime. And we even had the Jamaica Gleaner highlighting some amount of flooding that took place in St. Catherine today. They stated a handcart operator is charging $50 to transport persons unable to move about due to flooded streets in the old capital of Spanish Town, St. Catherine. And we can see the video right here. Somebody being transported given the floodwaters. Definitely some decent flooding rainfall took place today in St. Catherine for sure. Alright. We definitely have some confirmation of what the weather was like in some of our subscribers and followers area. We have Warren Barton 5374 sitting raining in Greater Portmore, Active 4081 sitting raining in Clarendon, Nicholas Kerr stating and drizzling, thunderstorm in St. James. Even on our TikTok page we had Shanika stating raining, Coke Hype stating raining as well. On our Instagram page, we had Unbothered Zana stating rain, rain, rain. Chisholm Avenue side. We have Hepsilon stating light rain in New Kingston. We have that underscore girl too thick stating rain a fall and Moby a bun up. Well, it makes sense that Moby wasn't getting much of anything because most of the clouds were on the south side. Moby is somewhere over here in the clear for sure. We also have Marlon underscore one guy stating lightning a flash. Maypen, rain, thunderstorm. We also have Javon Panton stating Spanish Town rain. Strong Body Mars stating we're getting rain in Mandeville. Even on our Facebook page, where the comments coming in. Latoya Smith raining in Westmoreland. I Zhu Jing stating it ease up now there. Verona Burke sunny in Ocharias as expected. Northern Jamaica wouldn't have been receiving much of anything today. Shade Bridgeman Hen stating raining in St. Catherine, McCookspin. Latoya Anderson raining in North Central Clarendon. We also have Almic Signalum, if I'm not butchering your name, thunderstorm in Northwest Clarendon. Marcia Thompson, hailstorm in Mandeville. Chrissy Boo, no behavior, stating raining in St. Elizabeth. We also have Leonie Scott stating it was raining here. Raining where? Raining where? Let me know what parish next time. We also have Stephen Del Vale stating overcast and raining in Constant Spring area. Thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your area for today. Alright, so let us reload the very latest imagery here from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. The latest imagery is showing 23:45 UTC, which is actually 6:45 p.m. So this just came out 8 minutes ago. Considering that it's 6:53 p.m. right now, and what do we see? Not much of anything across the northwest, but we do see some clouds right here across the central and south central areas. Do we actually have clouds beneath all of this? Do we actually have rainfall beneath all of this? Let me know if you're getting rainfall in southern St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine right now. I'm pretty sure that it's not really much of anything, given the infrared. It looks like it was just leftover clouds being sheared off quickly towards the east. The Cuban Doppler radar glitched out today, April 25, at around 12:20 p.m., which is actually 11:20 a.m. Jamaica time. At that time, we're seeing some rain bands right here to the northwest of Jamaica, some moderate heavy rainfall at that. And if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, I'm not seeing much of anything across the northern portion of Cuba, but southeastern Cuba, some isolated shores, section of the western peninsula of Haiti, just some isolated shores right there off the coast. Not seeing much of anything across northeastern Jamaica. The Cayman radar, let us reload this so we have the very latest to show. Alright, so the Cayman radar, not seeing much of anything across south central Cuba or the Cayman Islands. Don't see much of anything across western Jamaica at all. If we take a look right here at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing Barbican, they showed it earlier where they were getting in some amount of rainfall. Now it's definitely dry, people walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business. And this should be the order of the evening, definitely fair for the most part. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. You can see Jamaica right here embedded in some grays and some slight blues. It represents average to slightly below average temperatures, at least 1 degree Celsius below average at that. And we know the average temperature for the month of April is around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. When that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 31.1 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30.1 degrees Celsius to 31.1 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Saturday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online Twitter page that we need to highlight. I know that we have to highlight these because you know that when we have power outages somewhere across Jamaica, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down due to the power outage. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Saturday, April 26, 2025. We're referring to Gutters to Alligator Pond, Prospect, Butt Up, Downs, Content, Turner, Top, Littit, Bramington Hall, Duff House, Alligator Pond, New Forest, Sea, Ear and Roads leading off, all in the parish of Manchester from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Welcome Hall to Maroontown in the parish of St. James from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, when outside, seek shade. Eat fresh. Try eating cold food such as salads and fruits. Rest. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak. Take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we're starting to see some breaks in the dry air, some yellows, some blues across sections of the Greater Antilles. We know the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. We see a lot of dry air right here off the coast of Africa, across the southwestern Atlantic and the Gulf. But we like to see the yellows and the blues across the Greater Antilles over of Jamaica. That's that moist air. We want that so we can get more rainfall to keep water in our pipes. You can also see a lot of moisture across the Eastern Caribbean, the intertropical convergence zone of the Atlantic and the Pacific for sure. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for 18 UTC on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday, we can see the browns represent the Saharan dust extending all the way from Europe, Asia, Africa, across the main development region to the Eastern Caribbean. But what we like to see is the fact that the more it comes into the Eastern Caribbean because of the ridge of high pressure steering it that way, the more it dwindles and shows just the low end of the scale. We're talking about anywhere from a 1 to at least an 18 right here of the coast of northeastern South America in terms of the dust concentration. Nothing too significant, and we're also grateful that us over here in the Greater Antilles are in the clear for 1 p.m. on Saturday. We don't want any of this at all because know that can cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're glad that those dark shades of browns represent the vigorous dust concentration is remaining across Africa at this time. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, seeing more light shades of blues to dark shades of blues across the entire western hemisphere, represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1.5 meter wave height. And if we take a look at the Jamaica's north coast tomorrow, 1 meter wave height on the north coast, 0.4 of a meter wave height right here to the south of Clarendon, 0.3 of a meter wave height right here to the south of St. Elizabeth, 0.7 of a meter wave height right here to the south of St. Thomas. Very low wave height, and that's because of the winds that are expected. Look at the shades of the greens. We're talking about dull greens into bright greens. We're talking about from 5 to 10 to at least 15 knots at most. And we see the flow of the winds coming in from the east-southeast across the eastern Caribbean, east to west, and then towards the southwest across the southwestern Caribbean. More of a northeasterly flow across the Bahamas and Cuba, east to westerly flow across the northwestern Caribbean, east, southeast to west, northwesterly flow across the Gulf into Texas right there. But regarding Jamaica's wind forecast for tomorrow, winds seem to be coming in from the east-northeast, averaging 10 knots on the north coast, averaging 9 knots on the south coast from the east. And we see that the air is still going to be piling up across sections of some central and western parishes. We see the blues. Wherever we have the blues, that's where we're going to be having the least amount of winds. That's where we're going to be having all of the air piling up. So we'll have more convection during the afternoon, more rainfall, and we'll definitely take it. And the upper level winds still going to be coming in from the west tomorrow, so we might just receive some more of this when we have those cloud tops being sheared out towards the east, when we have the convection for those cumulonimbus clouds. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the year and this map from the GFS are both showing blues represent rainfall. Right here to the north of Portland and St. Mary at around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 6 a.m. Jamaica time. The GFS trying to put some of the rainfall across section of Portland, St. Mary, even St. Anne. You'll see how that actually plays out. So maybe morning rainfall across the north, then during the afternoon. Look at what the Euro is showing. Look at what the GFS is showing. This is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. We see the blues represent rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. Very interesting. Could we be in for some more rainfall? And it looks like it might just be favoring southern Jamaica once again. No complaints here. We'll definitely take the rainfall for sure. Let's see if it actually plays out. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps are favoring most of the rainfall across the southern portion of the island. So it's going to be another similar forecast to today. Northern parishes in the morning, southern parishes during the afternoon. We see the Euro going up to at least 0.61, 0.66 of an inch of rainfall on the south coast, up to 0.35, up to 0.27 of an inch of rainfall on the GFS. We'll see how that plays out. Either way, whatever happens, we'll definitely take it because we're in the month of April. In Kingston's biography is being shown right here at the top. We usually receive close to 40 millimeters of rainfall for the month of April. In Montego Bay's biography is being shown right here at the bottom. We usually receive close to 4 inches of rainfall for the month of April. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the entire month of April or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. Now that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some clouds across the eastern Caribbean, bringing some overcast skies, some thunderstorms associated with that trough. So too sections of northern and South America getting in on the mix. And if you take a look at the Doppler radar imagery of the northeastern Caribbean, you can see some rainfall across section of northeastern Puerto Rico. The Leeward Islands definitely getting nailed. Some amount of light to moderate rainfall in the greens. The U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica getting on some rainfall as we speak. And if we load these Doppler radar images from earlier today, we can see that they were definitely getting nailed. Some amount of light to moderate to heavy rainfall for sure. Even the Barbados radar confirms rainfall. That section of Guadeloupe, Dominica already receiving some isolated showers right here pushing in from the east towards section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Section of Trinidad and Tobago might get on some of the action too. And if we take a look at what we have Doppler radar images, we can also make out some of that rainfall across section of the ABC Islands, northern Venezuela, Colombia getting on some of the action too. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both Mass from the year and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall should be affecting portions of the ABC Islands, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, section of the ABC Islands, section of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, the Leeward Islands getting on the brunt of it. And you can see with the reds up to an inch of rainfall or more. Section of eastern and western Cuba, the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, section of Honduras, eastern El Salvador, southern Guatemala getting on some of the rainfall too. Even section of Guyana, Suriname and French Guiana getting on some of that too. And we can clearly see that both the year and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. You know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.